Welcome to Voyage, the first podcast on crypto's real-world use cases, where you can also discover crypto's global impact one region at a time. Bon voyage!
I think back to 2015, Japan has the biggest trading volume for crypto. People are not that much educated about the cryptocurrency. Our government is, trying to more involving a new technology and a new trend to our economy. It's been like over 30 years. Our economy is kind of stuck since a lot of inflation is coming. People still think everything is fine, even though they don't know anything about economics. I think Sony and big IP company are still struggling how they can collaborate with Web3 right now. So they're still in experiment right now. Japanese people are kind of shy, especially for the foreigners. So once foreigners stand in the booth or something, they can't stop talking. So they need a straighted opportunity. Earning money is not that good thing. It's kind of weird, right? But something belong to big company and then doing something serious, what you have to do is more important, people think.
I am so excited about this episode because Japan is a very unique market, I would say. Welcome today's guest, Ryo. He is head of partnerships at CoinPost and also the host of WebEx. We met back in East Denver this year, right? And I visited Japan end of July or something before WebEx. And Roy was really, really nice. He's a great host. So to anyone that's watching this episode, if you ever visit Tokyo and wanted to just learn about Japan, doesn't even have to be Web3. Roy is your to-go person. He's very enthusiastic. He knows a lot of good spot for, food and fun, of course. So, I would love to, for this episode, I would love to talk about Japan with you and explore a little bit more. For me, as a Chinese, I think I have a pretty good understanding of the Japanese market, the culture, and also the history. But I think for a lot of people that's listening, they might not have the knowledge or insights. So great to have you here. Without further ado, do you want to give us a little, introduction about yourself and also your personal backgrounds, and also how did you get into crypto?
So at first, thank you for inviting me today, Jojo. So I'm Ryo from CoinPost and WebEx. We are the biggest crypto media in Japan and also organizer of WebEx. The WebEx, I think it's the biggest crypto conference in Japan, held in Tokyo, and then we just had it in end of August this year, and then we got over 20,000 people for 2 days in total. So it was pretty big, and then it was second time this year, and then it's getting bigger since from last year, and then we expecting have more people and then more speakers and a lot of an expectation actually. So I'm so honored having such a big conference and also to being as a media, and then we trying to more involving a lot of people in Japan as well. That's gonna be a mission. And then also as my side, she mentioned, Japan is kind of unique country, so I hope a lot of things entertainment is gonna be a good excuse for a lot of people to come into WebEx too. So I want to see a lot of people in Japan next year. Let me just talk a little bit about myself first. So I used to work at SoftBank. It's the big IT and then a VC company in Japan. And then what I expected at the working was it's such a big company, and then also the founder, he's really famous guy. So I expect a lot of people are familiar with new technology and then new trends. And then at the time I worked at SoftBank, I was just studying a lot about internet and then these technological side and also AI. But I realized people are just more familiar with these specific ones like AI or internet, because we had a lot of conversation with our customers and then clients to talk about internet stuff or new AI stuff. Because at that time I worked at the SoftBank was ChatGPT just came out. So a lot of people had a lot of interest in how AI works and how AI will be. So that people had a lot of attention for AIs, but not that much about the crypto. And then I just personally invested about the crypto. So I did not that much familiar with crypto technology, and also I didn't have any networks at the time. And then actually, how did you get into this industry as my professional? My friends from high school work at the CoinPost. That's the only reason actually I just started working. But it's like what a coincidence. So I really love this, space. And then I just realized like even in crypto space, know a lot about like these technologies and the new trends. People who is in like Web2 in Japan have no idea about it. That was really like interesting to us. Like what I think it's really like, take it for granted. It's not like normal for a lot of people. So that's why I think Japan has a lot of potential, but still early stage for crypto at the first, I would say. She just mentioned that was like our economy stuff. So our government is trying to like more involving a new technology and a new trend to our economy. Like it's been like over 30 years. Our economy is kind of stuck since a lot of like inflation is like coming like the US. Everything is really expensive, but the salary is not that get the increase like compared to like a lot of countries. But Japan is worse actually. So everything is getting increasing, but our salary and then a lot of things like that should be paid is not that enough compared to the countries except like as a developed country, I think. So yeah, that's the reason why I just got interested in like crypto and then also new technologies, I would say, because there are more potential and then more opportunity to do something by myself and then also find a way how our economy can grow again. And then yeah, our government regulated crypto actually. Like back to 2018 or 17, I just forgot. But at that time, like before that, like Mount Gox, it just like they lost a lot of like Bitcoin and then it affected a lot in like Japanese people. So our government thought like crypto is kind of like a dangerous thing because it's a digital asset. At that time we had we got a lot of taxes up to 55% and then yeah, not that much crypto are like listed in Japan. So back to 2018, like 19, in Japan, like one cryptocurrency takes like a year to be listed, and then capacity was like only like two or three currencies that they can accept. So that means they can list only two or three cryptos every year. So at that time the cryptos like market in Japan was a little bit like decreasing at time because of regulation, and also people had a more attention to like AI at the time. But now I feel like WebEx we involving like our prime minister and also a lot of governors. So that means they're like really interested in how the market is going right now. And then it seems like our government want to change the regulation right now to about the tax. So like I said, it's up to 55% is gonna be our tax in Japan. But they would like to change down to 20%. Then 20% is still like not cheap compared to some countries like Korea. Korea has no tax for like crypto, so I feel like a lot of people love gambling, even like gambling for crypto, and they also like invest in crypto because they don't have to pay for tax. So that's why Korea has like a bigger trading volume compared to Japan. About stocks, but like 20% tax in Japan means same as stocks. So I think once the regulation is changed, people can more easily to invest crypto, and then people can get more attention to buy crypto. So the problem right now is like people are not that much educated about the cryptocurrency. I think in Japan, like over 5 million people have a Bitcoin. So that means like 5 million is not small numbers, right? I would say people can invest crypto right now still, but they have no idea how to use it. Like, I mean, like this, like Bitcoin, we have like a layer two, like a lot of new technologies still coming up, but they just think
Yeah.
it's just assets, and then nobody trade because of tax problem, and also they have no idea, so they just like invest and then like leave it. So now I feel like yeah, even like we have a webex, and then trying to educate as a coin post is like people should know how like crypto is like working as a technology side and then also financial side. Then I think government is still like also like learning about the crypto because it's a new technology, and then once they regulate let the regulation make like better, they still have no idea how the market is going will be going to. So that's why our government is still waiting the time to let the people use the crypto as well. But like one thing I think Japan is like something different from any other like developing country and a lot of countries like our currency, Japanese yen, it's not that good right now. But usually, like, in general, Japanese currency is Japanese yen is in the five big currency in the world, like Chinese yen and then also like US dollar as well. So people can trust Japanese yen. So it's kind of hard for like Japanese people to more like trust digital currency because it's unvisible and then also like, one Bitcoin is really expensive too. So people should spend like a lot of like Bitcoin, like a 0.0001 Bitcoin is something like that in the daily life. So it's kind of hard to tell the numbers. And then yeah, like El Salvador, they can trust. I would say it's kind of hard to trust, their currency, their own currency, right? That's why people are interested in crypto because it's easier to, use it by your phones. If you have like a Wi-Fi or data, you can just access to your Bitcoin or cryptocurrency and then just send it to your friend's wallet or pay the currency by the restaurant. But Japan, Japanese currency as a cash, it's really hard to copy. That's why people can trust, Japanese currency so easily. And even my like mom and dad love to pay by cash. They're like around like 55, like 60. These ages are still young in Japan because they are still working, and then like really energetic, but they prefer to pay by cash because credit card, even like credit card, it's invisible, and then they a little bit scared of like paying too much because once you have like like a big limit, you can use the credit card easily, right? So it seems like still these ages people like to spend the money by cash because Japanese yen is really trustful, and then yeah, easy to understand how much you spend too. So that's the like problem how like Japanese people see just as a currency, not only like digital currency or their cash. So yeah, that's like a still problem because like you mentioned about the unique, yeah, Japanese is kind of I think I would say it's unique. So I think it's kind of hard for like a lot of like maybe like American or like a lot of other countries people to understand Japanese culture. But I say in conclusion, like educating is at first to let the people know how it's easy to use like I mean crypto and then how it's trustful because of blockchain. It's very secured and then easy to trust, right? So yeah, I feel like right now it's like education phase, but we have a lot of potential. So when it comes to potential, let me just compare to Korea at first. Korean market is like I mentioned, there's no tax, so people are like easy to buy the crypto. They don't have to think about any tax problem. Korean market is more like a retail market, and then Japanese market is more like to be like institutional market, I would say, because as you know, Japan has a lot of like anime or like IP companies, and then that's really famous in all over the world. So, but like when it comes to Web3, like crypto, we have a lot of like similarity to collaborate with like these IP and then gaming company. Example is like when it comes to gaming, once Japanese like famous game is gonna be like in Web3 gaming, that's gonna be more easier for like people to use it. Not only as a Web3 gaming, but it's just like one other game, right? So yeah, that's what I actually like expect as like Japanese industry, like involving more like Web2 company to Web3. That's gonna be I think that right now the best way to develop economy and also develop Japanese crypto scene. So yeah, I say one yeah, new topic is like a new like one big Japanese car company is trying to collaborate with like one deepin project, and then they want to put the car sensor, on the car, and then they can like take a lot of pictures in the movie and upload it as a deepin service, and then providing like a good like a Google map. That's kind of interesting,
Which
right?
company is this? Oh,
It's
okay.
like Toyota. Okay, yeah, Toyota is trying to find a way to collaborate with like this project right now. Toyota is like one of the like biggest car company in the world, and they even looking for the way to collaborate with this like Deepin project. And then actually, I just went to the talk in Singapore, and then I joined the Deepin summit. I just forgot the name, but it's a big Deepin conference. And then I just realized like Deepin is really easier for like Japanese people to understand because Deepin is hardware, like drone camera, like whatever, it's easy to find the object. and then they can listen like how it's working right now. So I feel like a lot of Japanese people like go to conference and then listen their like infrastructures like project, but it's kind of hard to understand because it's invisible, and then like, Japanese people like usually not that much educated if you're not working in this space. But like it's more easier to understand working as like DPing of these projects because basically how DPing works is like same as like Web2 system, right? But it's more like decentralized infrastructure. So how it's working as a core is more like more easier for like a lot of people to understand for like a lot of Japanese people. So I could see like RTK, it's like how like it's like one of the service to measure like maybe drone or camera, and then I could see some like RTK project at Deepin as well. And then when I was working at the SoftBank, I talked with client and they were looking for some like new RTK project, and I was like, oh, there we go. So this is now it's time we should like provide or like time to like collaborate as well. So yeah, still like early stage, but I would say I could see a lot of potential at that time in the talking. And then yeah, once we can educate more, I say there are more opportunity to collaborate as like enterprise, more like 2B side in Japan. Yeah.
What about I think recently one of the most popular news was Sony developed their own
Yeah.
L2. How
Yeah.
how is that going? Is that something really excited viewed by Japanese people, or how's the sentiment around the Sony L2?
Yeah, that was kind of sensational news for like a lot of Japanese people because not only for like crypto people, but also like a lot of like normal people also mentioned about Sony because Sony just started something about the Web3. They even have no idea like what Sonium is like. Even like we know it's like a layer two, right? But even though they don't know about crypto, but like a lot of new like normal people say, oh, they can do something like Web3. And then Sony is one of the like big company in Japan. So it has a lot of attention right now. And then also what we and also a lot of people expect to Sony is like more collaboration with Web2. Because as you know, Sony has like
Right.
PlayStation and those like Walkman, like these like a lot of entertainment industry. PlayStation as like maybe like Web3 gaming or more like entertainment side. Sony also has like like music records and a lot of stuff. Once they collaborate with like these Sony project as one ecosystem, people will use it, right? That must be so many transactions gonna be happening, and also a lot of people can recognize something they use in daily life is web. That's really important thing. I think that's my side. So what we expect for Sonium is like they might involve these like Web2 project, like a Web2 system to Web3.
Like you mentioned before, I think this might be like a unique trait for Japanese people. Like they need to trust something that they can see, or they need to trust an institution that's either famous
Yeah.
or they've been on the market for, they're trustworthy. So I think
Yeah.
Sony and also PlayStation can definitely provide that trust. I can imagine if they do something with PlayStation in Web3, just like without telling people that is Web3, right? They have all the resources to educate people, but then you don't even have to mention the Web3 pieces and you can just like have people use it. I think that's all imagination, but I think that would be really cool. Also pretty excited to see
Yeah.
what their next step is. And also back to your
Exactly.
point of bringing these gaming IPs or the comic books, the cartoons to, Unchained, just like
Yeah.
act like as a distribution platform. That would be really cool as well.
Yeah, but I think like still Sony and like these big IP company are like still struggling how they can like collaborate with like Web3 right now. So they're still like in experiment right now. And also once if like such a big company invest crypto like all bet, I mean, if it collapse, they can run another business, right? So yeah, yeah. So that's why I think still they can't do something more dynamic in Web3 yet. But as a first step, like Sony just started their own like infrastructure. Maybe like once it's going well, they're gonna involve more like PlayStation and they're involving more like gaming company or more like IP company. yeah, that's what we expect. So that's what actually we need
Mm.
to help, like to people educated. Like right now, I still feel like people like, oh, Sony just started something new in Web3. That's it. But we need to let the people know once Sonium is getting bigger. Oh, what I use in daily life is the background is Sonium. It's just more technology science. So I think, yeah, people don't have to know like how Sonium is used as a daily life. But once they realize it, people can realize how crypto is working in a
Mm-hmm.
daily life, right? I think that's what we need. For me, I'd like to find more project that can be in the daily life. That's gonna be the best way to approach a lot of people. Like for example, gaming. I know like get some gaming project coming to the conference, and then maybe they have an exhibition or booth, and then trying to explain about their how to do like play to earn
Mm-hmm.
on the game. But I think that they also can approach to like gaming conference too. They can just come to the gaming conference and then show their game, and then let the people play, and then makes more
Mm.
attractive, and then since they love the game, they can say, oh, and then also you can play to earn. That makes sense finally. So I feel like still a lot of gamings are more focusing on like play to earn or like talking stuff. That's like a lot of interest for people. Gaming is like more they just want to have
Mm.
fun for the gaming, right? Play to earn is the next, I think. It's not like
Yeah.
job. Gaming is for more like entertainment. So yeah, gaming is easier way to explain how like crypto or like this blockchain space should be, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
think last year at GDC, it's like the biggest gaming conference in the world in San Francisco. I think I
Mm-hmm.
saw was it Oasis from Japan? The chain,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
The gaming. I actually
Yeah.
saw them there.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty surprised because even like in the Web3 space, like I didn't really hear about them. Like I didn't really understand what they were doing, but then they actually took the step to be present at a gaming conference. Maybe it was just me being ignorant of, not like really in touch with the GameFi ecosystem. But I think maybe they
Yeah.
already were doing something, adoption to the actual
Mm-hmm.
gaming market. So
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I think that's like one of the smart way to, get into like gaming market as a like blockchain like infrastructure side. And then yeah, actually like Oasis is like Japanese blockchain, the gaming blockchain. And then they are invested by SBI
mhm.
like last month. SBI is like one of the biggest like financial company like a group in Japan. They also have like the biggest platform for like stocks in Japan as well. So a lot of Japanese people invest stocks on SBI platform, and then SBI is also trying to get approved like ETF in Japan as well. So they are more like active in Japan for crypto. Also, they have a lot of like traditional finance side platform as well. So I hope that's gonna help like Japanese market. Like once ETF is approved in Japan, like they have like a biggest platform for stocks. People can easier to buy crypto as a ETF, like in Bitcoin as ETF on the platform. So that means more money and asset is coming to this space in Japan too. That's gonna be really helpful for a lot of people to know about like Bitcoin, and then also like Bitcoin
Mhm.
as a assets in Japan. And then like such a like big traditional finance company invested Oasis. I think that means they think more potential for like gaming industry in Japan. They invested like 1.5 billion Japanese yen,
Okay.
almost like 10 million, like 10 million US dollar. And then they are also like like big
Mhm.
traditional company, right? So that means a lot. Like since you talk about like Oasis came to like the gaming conference in the US, I think they will try to expand more their business model, not only in Japan and also worldwide, to involve like Japanese gaming culture, and then also more like Web3 technological side from overseas as well. I'm kind of like excited like both gaming industry and then also like financial side
Yeah.
in Japan. Yeah.
I think one of the unique thing about a lot of like cultural stuff in Japan and also the gaming comic stuff is distribution is
Yeah.
worldwide. There are fans all over the world knowing about these IPs. These IPs already have a great advantage for Web3 already because it's known by the world. I think that area is still, I think a lot of people are still exploring it, finding real use cases of, because like a lot of people say,
Yeah.
well, you have the IP, you have the gaming, but why do we need Web3? Why do we need crypto? Right?
Yeah. So I think, yeah, Japanese people, especially like when it comes to gaming, they are already like satisfied with
Mm-hmm.
Web2. I mean, they don't need, it doesn't have to be like a play
Yeah.
to earn. Because like, yeah, like gaming is always for entertainment and also your hobby. Because I can see like Japanese people always spend the money eating outside, hobby. These are like top two way they
Mm.
spend the money. So some people don't even think about, they even don't want to like, earn money from gaming. They should, it should be just hobby
Yeah.
maybe, right? But I think, yeah, once we, let the people know how cryptos and I mean like blockchain is working, it's much better, if you can play game really well, they also can earn money by just having fun, right? Blah to earn doesn't make sense. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean,
Mhm.
never happens. Like Steppen, yeah, I mean like Steppen was really big in Japan, and then it's like work to earn, right? And then at the time I heard about Step at first was like how it's working because how I can earn money by just walking, right? It's the same things. I think it's
Yeah.
the same things, right? So at the time I could see like a lot of like Japanese people quit the job and then just start having a lot of like sneaker NFT and then kept
Mm.
working. I was like, it's kind of dangerous. Once the token is decreased, they have no way to go back to work. So and it just really
Yeah.
happened, right? I feel like even like some of my friends asked me like, "What do you do for your job?" And then I said, we are crypto media, and then what's crypto? It's like a Bitcoin. And says, "Oh, Bitcoin is it dangerous?" I was like, "Okay, if you think so, it's dangerous, right?" But yeah, still like even though like my age, some people are thinking like that. So yeah, just education. Since regulation is better, people have a more opportunity to touch like I mean use crypto, right? So I think for me I feel like since the regulation has changed, people have a more opportunity to use crypto, and then people know, okay, this is not dangerous, because like I think a lot of people says dangerous about like Bitcoin and crypto is like they have no idea how it's
Mhm.
working. It's like, so it's still step by step, but since it works, I think, yeah, we have a more like as a like potential, and the more like big company is coming, and the more retail market is going to be like bigger,
Yeah.
I say. I think back to 2015, Japan has the biggest trading volume for crypto.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
before
Yeah.
regulation.
But yeah,
Yeah.
also I think people are just scared of things they don't know about.
Yeah.
Also, it's really interesting. I think I have some questions about Japanese culture and then people in general. So, you mentioned some of the
Yeah.
traits of Japanese people, right? It's like first of all, they tend to trust the government, they tend to trust the big institutions because some other friends that from different other countries that I interviewed, they just told me like people don't trust the government. They don't trust the bank. So I think for Japanese, it's very different. And then also, remember like the day that we had dinner, and then like the next day, stock market was like, it was like the biggest slump of history or something. And
I remember just like, hey, what's
no,
going
the
on? Right.
market just tanked. The stock market and also crypto market, right? I remember I was like
Yeah.
texting you. I'm like, oh my God, did you see this? What happened? And you were just like, yeah, we'll see. And I'm just like, how can you be so chill? And then like, I think I was like walking on the street in Tokyo, and then I was just like, people seem fine. So that's like
Yeah.
on that part, I'm very curious. Like, so for me, like I know the history of the lost decade and also what happened back in the 1990s. I guess change the topic a little bit. Can you kind of share with us what happened back then in history, and then also how is it now? Like, did it affect a lot of people of the previous generation and also our generation right now?
Yeah, so I sorry, I'm not that much like familiar with like our like like back like two, 20 years ago, like 30 years ago about like our like
Hmm.
economy stuff. But definitely I can say is like people like still think everything is fine, even though they don't know anything about like economics, because like as you know, like Japanese market is like kind of like I used to say it used to be it's not like it was kind of
Mm.
stable. So, and then how like Japanese company like like big companies like Toyota is like working all over the world is like people know like how Japanese like companies kind of still strong in the overall world. So didn't care that much like economy. I say it's kind of hard to explain, but like at the time you just text me about like the like
Yeah,
Nikkei
yeah.
the market is kind of
Look at my
decreasing,
portfolio.
right? Yeah. But at that time, they just, or I forgot how to say that in English. Our government just changed like percentage of the money when we
Okay.
rent. I forgot. So because of that, a lot of just I think that people from overseas just
Yeah,
sold
yeah.
the stocks.
Remember.
That's
Yeah.
why the Nikkei just went really down. But that's gonna be all fine because of just like our new policies. So it's not related to any like our core Japanese market stuff, right?
Is this just like how Japanese people are? I feel like maybe because you guys have experienced the last decade and then also,
Yeah.
various natural disasters. You guys are just like chill.
Mm,
Like
I say,
everything is fine.
yeah.
Like it's gonna be okay. Or like there's no like yeah, there's no like up and downs like how, I was reacting. I was like, "Oh my God, it's gonna tank. It's gonna go to zero." But I feel like you guys are just like, "Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be fine." Like
Uh, it's kind of hard to explain, but I feel like Japanese people seems like really
yeah.
serious and then also
Hmm.
conservative. Like at the moment, how they trust to Japanese like economy in the real mind is like really like everything's gonna be alright or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because even though like it is said like Japanese economy is getting
Mm.
lower and low, but I think our life is kind of stable. Even though like you don't have money, you can get more some like help from the government, and then also so let me just you know explain like how the U.S. is like. You can see the big mansion next to the
Mm.
homeless, right? But never happens in Japan. Like our government is more like our range, like how people like live in Japan is like this range. But it's like the people in the US is more like this, right? Like rich people like
Mm.
get more rich, poor people gets more like poor, right? But Japan is more like stable, and then also like the range is in the middle. I think that's why people don't think once something happen, not that much our life is gonna be
Mm.
changed.
If people don't really care about making money or they just have a very traditional and conservative way of growing their wealth, is
Yeah.
crypto even
So
necessary to them?
I think there are like two types of people like existing like as my age. I'm just
Mm.
25 years right now. So I feel like our age is like, more like live obvious like how people are like thinking the way how they want to start their life because so like one type of person since COVID when I was in college the
Yeah.
COVID just spread out and then it changed
Hmm.
our life, right? So at the moment, I could see some people just need a more like stable life. So that means like they want to like work for government or like a city, like a bank, like more like stable job they would like to get. So that means they just want to have a like normal life. Maybe just buying a car, house, getting married early. I had like same things happened in China as well because China is kind of hard to get a new job even though you have a good degrees because of like lack
Hmm.
of job. Young generation is kind of hard to
Yeah.
get the jobs. It's like same in Japan. Yeah, people just like not that much anxious to accomplish something
Mm.
in your life. Some people just have a like stable life in the whole life, like until like 60, they quit the job, they got the money from company, and they just spend like good elderly
Mm.
life or something. a lot of people have no like dream to establish or accomplish something
Yeah.
in their life. But doesn't make sense to me because once you were born, we want to do something like special, right? So some people like that. So they start working like, maybe startups or like starting their own company. So actually it's more like obvious that you can see like how people our generation want to spend their life. It's more like
Yeah.
obvious, I would say.
So in that sense, if the government or, bigger institutions want to push Web3 or crypto in Japanese markets, in your opinion, would that be a blocker for the distribution or education? Because I think right now we see a lot of people, this is not like a positive thing, but you see a lot of people entering crypto market in the world because it gives you a chance to make money, right? Or a lot of people like to gamble. A lot of people like to farm. They like to get the incentives, right? So money is
Yeah.
essentially why they even heard about crypto or entered the crypto market. But for Japanese people, you guys are, I guess you're a very niche of, this generation. You're very like different and
Yeah,
open-minded.
exactly.
So for
Yeah.
the majority of people, if they just want a very stable life, everything's chill, like just like follow the daily routine, whatever. Do you think that's going to be a blocker for crypto to really get the real use cases in Japan?
Yeah. So as like normal Japanese people, as especially like a more like
Mhm.
older age, I would say, but people think like earning money is not that good things. It's kind of weird, right? But like something like, belong to like a big company and then doing something serious, what you have to do is more like important, people think. So like in this space, people are like eager to earn money. That's like mind is completely different from like Japanese people. I feel like normal people, like how like normal like Japanese people, they do something they have to do. Because since you start working as a big company, you have like a position, you have something to do, right? Just more focusing on what you have to do is a really important things you have like in your life.
Uh,
I think that's more education because yeah, because like when I was in the like big company, there are so many things to do, and then our boss asked to do something. That means a lot because it's not related to earning money, right? Because I can get salary from the company, but I'm not sure how it affects
oh,
myself. But like people are more focusing on like what you need to do in the space or community, and then dedicate yourself to do something like that is more important. So they not that much focusing on it because I still feel like people in this space thinks like or like find more way how they can earn money as your
mm,
position, right? It's completely different. So once if you like working Japanese people, they are more like they just do something they need you
okay.
to do.
Uh, Do they
Yeah, I'm not sure
feel,
it does
do they
make sense or like
feel,
yeah.
are you talking about like a sense of accomplishment or,
Yeah,
okay.
accomplish. Yeah,
So that's more like a psychology thing,
I
like
think so, yeah.
it's like doing something that make them feel like they're important.
Mm-hmm.
Got it, got it. Okay, that's very different.
Yeah,
But so let's say like if you have a job that doesn't pay you as well, but then you have a lot of tasks, you know, assigned by your boss, and then your boss tells you that, you do these tasks, you're very important to the company, versus if you have a job, you don't really
yeah.
do much, but then you're earning good money. You think that people would
Yeah.
choose the first one more?
Yeah, I think I would say first one because it's more obvious what you have to do is,
Ah,
right? And then you can feel more like satisfied because once you finish what you have to do, boss is gonna be like, "Hey, you did your
mm,
best," and then I'm like, "Okay, I did my best about career," and then you are evaluated at the
mm,
company. That's like common Japanese society. I feel like not like creating
mm,
something 0 to
okay,
1. Yeah, people feel more
I see.
satisfied by evaluated like these like boss or like some stuff like that.
That's very interesting. So entrepreneurship isn't valued as highly as, maybe in the US or the rest
Yeah,
of the world, because that gives you a sense of uncertainty, right? It's yeah, it's not stable.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think one different things about job hunting in Japan is like we say
Shinso.
新卒. That means shin is new,卒
Mhm.
is graduation. So since you graduate university, that's the best opportunity for like Japanese people to get a good job. Because a lot of Japanese company hire like new employees that just graduated
Mm.
from university. Because it used to be more like Japanese society as like people just start working in one company and then end your life
Oh,
in the one company. They never, j- hopping or like change the job. New like never do any recruiting during their like working life. That was like a best thing in the life because I think my like grandpa and grandma age never expect like
mm.
changing a job. That means you're a loser or
Oh
something
no.
actually.
Really?
Yeah, it's good, right? Yeah. Oh, you quit the job. That means you just stop, like working, like you just stop your career or something. Because I can see like a big Japanese company still hire like a lot of like, young age people and educate until they
Mm.
finish the career. So that's more common in Japan. So people just need a more like, employee that can work for your boss or dedicate yourself to your company, not complain anything about the company or not being like, entrepreneurship or some stuff. They that's what they don't
Yeah,
need actually.
that's crazy. Um, but I do think
Yeah.
that's like a positive side of it is I think when I was visiting Japan, you guys have a lot of like master of just like even like very small things, like master of sushi or master of katsu or something like that. So it's like people tend to do
Yeah.
something. It might not be a new thing, but then they tend to do something, that are already existing, but then they tend to do it to, extreme or like 100%. So I think that's also something really cool about, just like Japanese culture and the people in general. Okay, that's super insightful. My last question is, I think you also touched on
Mhm.
this a little bit before in the beginning, but um, as someone that's working in the Web3 industry in Japan, what do you wish people are building in this space right now in Japan? Or and also, how is marketing different in Japan compared to other countries?
Okay, so when it comes to the marketing of first, I would say, yeah, it's completely different because Japanese people hardly speak English. So first, like global contents never be able to like reach Japanese people. Like 99%
Mm,
Japanese people read an article in Japanese. So that means like more like localization is
mm,
important. Like, publishing in Japanese and then also like trying to involve more like community because for us, it's like Japanese people are like really, I say
uh,
shy. Because even though at the conference, like wherever you go at the conference, people like as you like attendee, just talk to talk to the booth and then hi, I'm blah blah blah, and then working at the like this company, and then I want to know more about you, and then find a way to collaborate or something like that, right? But like Japanese people are kind of like shy, especially like
mm.
for the foreigners. So once like foreigners standing in the booth or something, they can't start talking. So they need a straighted opportunity.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? So yeah, like as a project marketing, they need to like set the scene and then involving more community like people to the event. That's like kind of more like troublesome, I would say, because you need to well prepare for like these people to do something
Uh,
together. So that's the like big differences, not only as like language differences, I would say, and
since like there's the bigger institutions are coming into the space in Japan in Web3, and
Mhm.
also the government is starting to regulate it, starting to pay attention to crypto. What do you wish that the builders, um, are building in Japan right now? If you can use the wildest imagination.
Okay. Yeah, I would say, like I mentioned, like big enterprises, like something like a big company do something means a
Mm-hmm.
lot, right? Like Sony. So we need a more like use case, even though like they just build infrastructure or like collaborating with like deep in projects. So we need a more like use case that people can understand more easily about like blockchain, like Web3, ecosystem is working in the real society. So since like these big companies get into like crypto more and more, government have to do something for Web3, like as a regulation or some stuff for sure, right? So when you breaking down, I say education, people from enterprise, like Web2 enterprises, because only like like 2000, like I was 2021. At that time, NFT was huge, and then it was so easy to understand for a lot of people about the NFT because it's non-fungible token, right? But it didn't work well except art and then something else. So it's like people do something a lot about like NFTs, but it just turned to like digital garbage actually. So since what I expect in Japan is like people get educated more about crypto, and then once they educated, they can think how they can collaborate with their specialties, right? If you're working at IT company, maybe they can find something with IT. If they're working with manufacturer, maybe you can find that good idea to collaborate with the manufacturer. So we need to educate it, and since it works, they can make some proposal in the company to do something Web3. That's gonna be more helpful to do something in this space. And then government is realizing like, oh, there's something really interesting. We should spend our money for it, or we should change the regulation for it, something, right? Yeah, that's what we expect. Education and then more collaboration with Web3. So I mean, it's not easy, and then it doesn't. I think it's a long time, but we need to focus on it because Web3 is not only as a trends, but also as a infrastructure like internet too.
Sure. So I think it's like smaller effort in different companies. Like people need to understand what it is. And then once the effort becomes so big, then the government would realize, hey, this is actually important. We need to do something about it. So it works like that in Japan.
Yeah. Exactly. But like you mentioned, our government is getting more crypto friendly, but more enterprise should be following them right now.
Got it. Is Coin doing educational content, or like are you guys doing any activities around this?
Yeah. We like we introducing some like infrastructure like our like new project, but some words are more like technical words. So I'm not sure like whether coin post is like good for like a lot of beginners for the crypto, but we trying to developing more contents for like we are like beginners too.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
I mean, maybe you should start like a YouTube channel and just like talk about really easy blockchain stuff. Or even like, I think people, the ideal stage is like people don't need to understand. We're using internet, right? But then who cares about HTTP, right? Like, what does that even mean? But I think we still have a long way to go. Like, from what you've told me, I think the crypto momentum has just started in Japan. I think a lot of people are still sleeping on Japan. Would you say this is like a good time for people to kind of like start exploring what opportunities are out there in Japan? And then, I mean, if people have, questions or they have things that they want to kind of explore, they can always reach out to you and CoinPost, right?
Yeah, exactly. As a retail, that's gonna be very good. But I say more enterprise and 2B side is gonna be important in Japan, I think. Okay. Actually, like almost